What can B2B businesses learn from B2C, business to consumer businesses, about content and social media? Now, B2B and B2C aren't that different. They seem worlds apart sometimes, but they're not actually that different, because the fundamental similarity between them is it involves talking to people. And I think one thing that B2C does very well is it recognises that its content is talking to human beings. There are human beings at the end of it. It isn't labouring under the stereotype that you have to sound a certain way, which B2B does tend to sound quite similar and the same. There seems to be this notion that you have to sound professional, whatever professional means with B2B. Whereas B2C tends to be more relatable. It tends to use a language that its audience understands much more effectively. Now, that means quite often adding some personality to its content, which I think is something that B2C can do very well. And I think B2C also recognises the fact that personality, that is part of the brand and part of the brand voice, and that's something that can set you apart from your competitors, which is an area that I think B2B businesses need to explore a bit more with their content and social media, because I don't think the personality of these businesses, the brand voice, is really coming across very well, if at all. Now, what the B2B sector is very good at is networking, talking to people. The property industry, the built environment, is a very people-led industry. But that isn't reflected in the content. Those conversations, that sort of style of communication isn't really reflected in the content and the way people talk on social media in the B2B world. So I think that is the key lesson that B2B can learn from B2C, is actually move the content more towards a human-centric style of communication, make it a little bit more conversational.